celebrating 50 years as the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
WIFO-FM, Jessup.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. In the House impeachment fight, a flare-up after a delay's announced.
This is outrageous. More Stalin-esque than unbelievable. Not even consult.
House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler abruptly postponed the articles of impeachment vote last night. He's set to gavel in at 10 Eastern this morning. This coming after yesterday's 14-hour-long session.
For his part, President Trump is accusing Democrats of trying to impeach him from the start of his term. He tweeted out several times on Thursday, echoing Republicans who have been defending his actions. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says her members are not going to be whipped into voting for impeachment. Instead, she says each member will get to make their own decision.
Fox's Mark Meredith. And the president's fight to keep his personal financial records private reaches the Supreme Court, where justices today will meet to consider 3 cases. America is listening to Fox News.
Download Fox News Channel's The 5 podcast for free. 5 of your favorite Fox News personalities discuss current issues in a roundtable discussion. Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. America is listening to Fox News.
America is a special place. Every 4 years, we do something most people across the globe only dream of. Democracy 2020. It's in your hands. Fox News. America is watching.
It's the holiday season, and it's the perfect time to give that Fox News fan in your life the greatest gift of all. Exclusive Fox News gear. Go to shop.foxnews.com and use code RADIO at checkout for free shipping on your first order. Fox News hats, t-shirts, mugs, jackets, travel mugs, and so much more. That's shop.foxnews.com. And be sure to use code RADIO at checkout for free shipping on your first order. Happy holidays from Fox News Channel.
Murphy's Builder Supply is where you need to go for all your home improvement projects and hardware needs. They've been serving folks in this area since 1946. Murphy's offers some products and services that you may not know about. They now sell ammunition, both bullets and shells. Murphy's also sells personalized tags for dog collars. They build customized screens for windows and doors. Murphy's can rekey locks, and of course they can make keys. They cut glass for windows, plus Murphy's has monthly doorbuster specials. Check their Facebook page to see what's on sale. Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash, located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jessup. That's Nips Car Wash with a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South down from McDonald's in Jessup.
At 8:09, time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply and Nips Car Wash. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Jonathan. We got a special guest in, School Superintendent Jay Brinson in. They had a meeting Tuesday. A lot went on there. We want to talk about some of those items, but just want to, first of all, get his thoughts on the big announcement this week. Again, Georgia High School Association denied our appeal not once but twice to move up, move down. Jay, you were there along with Athletic Director, Head Coach Ken Cribb, High School Principal Brett McDaniel. Just want to get some insight on what all takes place when you go up there. Disappointing news. Statesboro gets to move. We don't get to move. I mean, we request the same thing they wanted. But tell us, you were there not once but twice. I guess we'll go the first time you're up there.
Well, and good morning, gentlemen. As far as that appeal process is what we did. We did not. If you rewind back, though, the Georgia High School Association created this whole situation. We had, when the numbers come out, we had us a nice, a 4 and possibly 5 team region, with Ware, Coffee, Statesboro, and Wayne, and then somebody else comes in, it's 4 or 5. That's a viable region. But they allowed Statesboro petition to play up for whatever reason, and they allowed them to do so. So that created, when they did that, they had to move the pieces around. This is before they set the regions. Well, they had to move them around, and so lo and behold, there's no more schools really technically in that 5A size. So they sent Warner Robins and Veteranstown, which is, created a situation with just excessive travel and just not good for kids all the way around. So we appealed. And it's a process, and I commend Georgia High School Association for having a process where everything's appealable. And what we did first was we appealed to the reclassification committee, which is a subcommittee of the overall executive committee. Okay, so this reclassification committee was comprised, I think it was 16 representatives of the overall committee, and so me and Coach Cribb and Dr. McDaniel, drove to Thomaston and presented our case. I presented it that time. We got 0 yeses, 15 noes, and 1 abstention. So I got shut out. So the next step in that process is appealing to the whole executive committee. Well, that was interesting.
How many people were in that
committee? Me and Coach Cribb and Dr. McDaniel drove to Thompson again this week and presented our case again to the whole committee. So you walk in and I think there's 68 people on that committee. So it was a little ludicrous, like we're testifying before Congress. There were 63 of them was there, but I think there's 68. It might be
you sitting at the table when they're up there.
There's 63 people in a U.
In a U.
You're standing right there with a microphone. Okay. And Coach Cribb presented this time, and me and Dr. McDaniel just kind of went addressing, and we had to hand the handouts to the 63 people and that sort of thing. Coach Cribb did a tremendous job presenting, really did. He made valid points that our focus is on, taking care of kids' safety first and foremost. And Coach Cribb had a tragedy during his career where, he lived it. He had a good friend that was, I want to say it was after his first win as a high school football coach was, come back late up at the field house. They think he dozed off and had a car wreck on the way home, 2 o'clock in the morning. And, and he's no longer with us. So, and he shared that with them. Long story short, I mean, it's just concerning. They have zero oversight. So therefore their procedures and protocols and things they use to go about their business as a Georgia High School Association, especially in that committee. I mean, we're talking about serious stuff. I mean, they heard appeals for reclassification, but they also listened to appeals for, student athletes that were, something very serious. So that's the only concern I guess the only beef that I have with them. And I'll give you an example. Ware County presented before us. Same argument about being isolated, wanted to play down in 4A. And I'll get back to our appeal in a minute, but just as an example, Ware County, Mr. Shields, he's the AD at Ware County. He presented his case, and he got to go over there and sit down because he's on the committee. He got to go over there and sit down in his other chair and raise his hand. Yes, they voted it down, but I get to present and vote for my own cause.
Right.
So it's things like that was just. A little odd.
Well, another point we want to make, we had some people try to help us, but they don't really care what the representatives have to say. Like Stephen Meeks,
they don't. Our legislators are wonderful. They do a great job for us. They have zero influence on Georgia High School Association. Never have, and I don't know that they will. I mean, we've had this discussion. I know in my 27 years as a coach and administrator, and it's just one of those things that I know they've had some study committees. They just had one this last 12 months, and
that's my frustration.
So I don't know.
Apparently, these people they're not held. It's like who is there? They don't seem. I mean, they are a dictatorship. They tell you where you're going to go, how you're going to play. They set all the rules, all the guidelines, all the fees.
And that's another point.
It's just crazy.
When we presented our case, I mean, we asked for isolation. Consideration. They said, where do you want to play? And of course, Dr. Hines said, well, we're going to assign you. If you're awarded isolation, we'll tell you if you're going to 4A or going to 6A. And then we said we're fine with that at this point. They took out where we were actually appealing to go, but we were fine going to 6A to get out of the travel thing. So at the end of the day, I wish Georgia High School would just say it's first come, first serve. First person gets in line to request something, we're going to award it. Because at the end of the day, Statesboro High School has actually larger numbers than we do. They were assigned to one 5A, that 5A region. They asked to play up in 6A, and they said yes. Wayne County requested the same thing. No. They let Burke County, who was in that 4A region, go to a 3A region. There was several other
Richmond Hill's another case.
There's a lot of them moving down.
It seems like a political thing. Who you know, what you know. It's just frustrating, but it is what it is. So we'll be in that region 1-5A. The question, Wayne County, what about the cost? Because we've added two sports. We added volleyball and wrestling, but those long trips, and not only the cost and the trips back and forth, but you're talking about gate receipts, which you rely on. You don't see many gate receipts now from people coming all the way from Warner Robinson Veterans High School. So
and it's
just like a catch-22. You not only are going to spend money going, but you're going to have less money coming in gate-wise. So it just seems like a big financial burden to the
And we've been there
system.
and done that. You've been here.
Right.
We
made those trips. We made those trips to Augusta,
Crisp County.
But it is what it is. So I appreciate you coming in. I wanted you to explain the process to people that know what. But there's a lot went on at the board meeting Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the board voted to go along with the high school principal's recommendation. There's been a lot of concern that students are not being recognized in Atlanta for the valedictorian, salutatorian luncheon, so they want to move those dates up. There's still some concern. Everybody knows how competitive those positions are, especially in Wayne. Everything's competitive in Wayne County. The question was, does it change between December and in the school year? So you said you want to look at that more closely before a final decision is made.
Right. I just want to proceed. We have time, so I just want to make sure we proceed, thoroughly and make sure we don't affect or take away the opportunity from the kid that's earned it. And that's the whole thing. We want to make sure these kids work extremely hard, not just during their high school career, but their whole educational career to get to this point. And so at the end, we want to get them all the recognitions that they deserve and have. And so we're going to take a little time, and if there's any way we can do it this year, that was the sentiment Tuesday night. So we're going to try to do it, but again, we're not going to take away the opportunity for another child that may.
Right. The high school principal's presentation was to do it in 2022 just to get in that handbook and to make sure everybody knows what the rules are. But the board's thought, let's get it in as quickly as we can if we can.
Right. And I think there's some things that we can do this year. Now, some things I'm not hopeful with implementing. Like we talked about is, we got to make sure it's fair. We're not offering as many. We're offering more AP classes now than we've ever have, and so that's not fair for maybe students that were.
They asked me the question. I didn't have the answer. When is the luncheon in Atlanta? Why?
Yeah, it's in June. That's not as big a. I think that's something that we hopefully should be able to take care of. And I know that's a focal point. That is, a wonderful honor. But I'm looking at the one of the biggest benefits to this is the masses. If we're able to get these designations out, our students can include these in our applications to colleges, universities, and that helps them get accepted early. It's very competitive. The University of Georgia is just off the charts competitive as far as students getting admitted at all, but especially getting admitted early. And it just helps those kids with their resumes. Right now, we're kind of lagging behind, and it's always been that way. And I think this is a great change, and I commend Dr. McDaniel and the staff for bringing it forward.
And I know we're talking about the best students, but me being like I am, I'm thinking, well, if they announce Bob Morgan valedictorian in February, I may not show up March, April. Right. So, is there any concern about that?
Not really. No. We've these kids, and when you get down to the very end, it's very hard to even affect that grade point average. Is what you're really talking about. I mean, is it possible? Well, yeah, somebody could have a life altering event. We'll put some safeguards in place. We certainly don't want. Some serious event to put a black mark on who our valedictorian and salutatorian is, or some of these other recognitions. So we'll look at that as well.
Another event that took place at the board meeting, you had the organizational chart, something that you've been working on. I understand when Sachs came down, they said that's something that the school system needs. So explain the organizational chart that people saw. Is it a big deal or not a big deal? What is it?
I think it's needed. Obviously, your accreditation entity tells you must have one, and we do mainly for communication purposes and trying to be more effective and efficient. We have 5,500 students, 800 employees. It's about the communication and not wasting time, which is wasting money, and so we tried to funnel things through it's just a natural flow for us dividing what we do up into finances and operations, and a lot of those bleed over. But we think we got a good, and of course it can be changed at any time. So that's how we broke things out. And Miss Amy Denny is has an assistant superintendent title. She's still going to be working with K-5 curriculum like she has for the last a couple of decades in it. And so the board felt strongly about having a designated person, to answer directly to me. Not that I'm not going to work with everybody, principals and our other directors that we have, but just I've been running up and down the road to Thomaston for the last month, and things that go on instead of having to wait to really get my whatever signature or okay. It's fine to have a conversation with Ms. Denny, and let's move on forward. So that was the intent of the whole thing.
If you just joined School Superintendent Jay Brinson, our special guest here on the World Famous Butch and Bob Show, talking about Wayne County being denied the appeal and some other events took place at the board meeting on Tuesday. They talked about the SPLOST tax money coming in. We're in their second SPLOST. Like I said, the first, we built the new schools. Now we have other projects, but the big project on the board right now is the James E. Bacon Elementary School. When will we see progress on that?
Yeah, had a meeting with Mr. Ellis and our architect yesterday morning, matter of fact, and he had us. We were getting down the road to finally get some hard plans. He was meeting with the contractor, setting up a meeting next week to try to go ahead and get some figures tied to the design. The design has been a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be quite honest with you, because I hadn't had that experience before. We had a design. Here it is. We're going to build the same school we built the last time. We did that at Odom and Martha Ross Smith, which is my entire experience. But this project's a little bit different. I think the product is just going to be out of this world as far as what James E. Bacon is going to transform into. But still trying to make sure we take into account all the safety things, of course, trying to enclose that school where everything's connected. And then you got that because there's going to be some new construction off the front of it. When I say the front of it, I mean in the old high school parking lot, if you will. That will be the frontage of the school. So there's a lot of choreographing. When you start talking about hooking into city water, sewer, heat and air, electrical, those things, those all has to be written out. That's what architect does. He makes sure all that fits. So we're taking that existing building, adding some new construction to it, and pretty much going in and gutting and combining classrooms. All the classrooms are going to, and those classrooms, if you remember, that was the old junior high. So we have those science labs in it that are humongous classrooms. Then you have other classrooms that are, only 600 square foot. So we felt real strongly, and that was what the board's direction was to me, to make sure this school, if we're going to do this, and we've been planning and working on this about 6 years, about my entire tenure here as far as planning, but the direction was make sure this school is on par and comparable to the other 4 elementaries. And so we went in, and that's been a design issue too, as far as making sure those classrooms are the same square footage or larger than what the other 4 schools have.
One thing I haven't heard recently, people asked me the other day, and I haven't seen any construction or anything, the track. Where are we at on the track?
We're fixing to advertise the track. We are still waiting on the permit. I mean, you can't stick a shovel in the ground until you get that permit from the Army Corps of Engineers, because some of the construction is going in, it's going to be touching wetlands, which is it's possible. People say, oh, you can't go into wetlands. Well, you can. You just have to go through the red tape and purchase some mitigation credits, is what they call it, with the bank. The mitigation bank, and it's tremendously complicated, and you have zero control, which is frustrating. But we're very close. We're certainly not going to get it completed as quickly as we wanted to, but we kind of knew that going into it. Once we decided where we was going to put it, and it got into wetlands, it's always it's just a long, drawn-out process. But waiting on the permits.
And the walking track of the job in on that, it seems like it's nice. Are they
I
happy with that?
I think we're in good shape there. Maintenance is working hard. We were able to purchase some addition to our stands, another plank more or less to go in there. We had that serious accident where a child fell through the bleachers and was injured. Luckily, wasn't severe, and he was able to make a full recovery, but that was very scary, and we knew that. But we've addressed it, and we've got the home side completed, and I don't know if we've finished the visitor side. This weather's been kind of tough, but that will no longer be an issue. And so we're doing some things at the stadium to where we can. We knew if we're staying there, we're going to be limited in the funds that we could put toward it, because we have other, like you said, Bacon and the track and some of these other projects. So you're going to dip into that East Plus money in a hurry.
I'm going to piggyback to the, I said they shafted us on the move, but it was 3 course. Like I said, I told Butch, there had been some meetings from legislators and other organizations talking about disbanding Georgia High School Association altogether. Is that a possibility? I mean, with exit issues coming up in January, the representatives will be there. What's the possibility? And if they did replace Georgia High School Association, what would it fall under?
There you go. That's the question. It's kind of like getting rid of somebody, getting rid of anything. That's okay, but what are you going to replace it with? Who are you going to replace it with? And so, of course, legislation can do anything they want. They've studied it. They've had a lot of conversations. I think Blake Tiller was very involved in that committee, so he knows the sentiment. He knows some of the problems and the areas that frustrate really everyone, especially us in South Georgia. It's just because we're kind of stuck down here geographically. It exponentially affects us, in my opinion. So they're aware of it. It just depends, in my opinion, where it's going to fall on their priority chart. They have a tough job when they go into general session to address a lot of different things, and I admire all of them. And so hopefully they can do something, because it does need some work. And again, I think it's the oversight of how their business is being run. I'm not even really talking about the money, though. I've had some questions in my tenure as a principal, some of the things that went on. But we'll see. And I just don't know that, I don't have the answer. I don't really have a suggestion. There's been a little discussion about maybe the Georgia School Board Association taking over athletics and that sort of thing. And that's a strong organization with a lot of good people, a lot of good leaders. My concern would be the athletic background, in that organization. But they're Valerie Wilson is executive director. She does a wonderful job. I think they could figure that out if they decided to go that way, or at least involve them. I don't,
Just seems like my frustration is they're not held accountable to anybody. They're just running as a dictatorship, telling people where to go, what to do.
I would agree with that.
You don't see them anywhere during the regular season. Come playoff time, all of a sudden they start implementing fees and structures. It's been frustrating for me for years. Like I said, I made many phone calls up there, many calls.
Right.
Luckily, they finally got rid of the coin flip for the home team. I mean, they finally came common sense to that. But some things you think are just common sense things, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I know. But let me be fair that the organization does a great job for kids in a lot of ways. And in this instance, not so much, because it didn't have anything to do about kids. It had to do about, we're going to have to go back and tear up the regions and that sort of thing. If we let Wayne get out now and leave a 3, or Wayne and Ware, and have a 2-team region, they couldn't do that anyway. But they do a good job promoting kids. It's a strong organization in a lot of ways. It's that business end on how the decisions are being made. I mean, if I tried to make decisions like that, or even me and the school board tried to make decisions like that, there'd be lawsuits.
And like you said, there's no explanation. Statesboro request to move, they let them move. We asked for the same thing. They say, let us know. So the question is why?
All right.
Is it political? Is it
anti-Wayne County? Politics is always going to play a part in it.
How do they explain that? I mean, you don't get any explanation. That's what's funny about it. You ask why, and
they have to give you
right.
one. And that's the
thanks for coming.
Part.
Right. So.
But again, there's some great. I know probably half the room in there.
I'm just glad Earl didn't vote against us. That was nice.
Earl, he's a great guy.
He abstained. But anyway, Jay, always good to see you. Wish you and your family Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Like I said, school seems to be in good shape. Things seem moving.
You're skipping by.
We'll see James C. Bacon and the new track come to fruition soon. Yeah. So a lot going on. Appreciate you coming in. You're always welcome.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. That's going to do it for the world famous Butch and Bob Show on a Friday. Have a great weekend.
Dr. Michael Sharkey, a board-certified dermatologist and Mohs surgeon specializing in skin cancer, along with physician assistants Heather A. Smith and Lindsay Bookhart, are welcoming new patients to take care of all of your skin needs. Georgia Dermatology is a general and surgical dermatology practice specializing in the treatment of all types of skin disorders, removal of skin cancer, and Mohs skin cancer surgery. Call today at 427-4267 to set up your appointment with Georgia's premier dermatology and skin cancer specialist. Georgia Dermatology and Skin Cancer Center, with offices to serve you in Jessup and Waycross. For more information, visit us online at gadurham.com.
Prepare yourself for an evening of illusion with Mark the Magic Man. Kay Cagle Theater at Wayne County High School will host a thrilling and death-defying performance of Solitaire on Saturday, January the 11th, with performances at 3 and 7 p.m. Mark the Magic Man will leave you mystified and spellbound as he takes you on a whirlwind journey of comedy and illusions. Proceeds from the show will benefit the Wayne County Exchange Club and Hospice of South Georgia. Tickets are available now at Country Financial, your local State Farm office, Hospice of South Georgia, and from members of the Wayne County Exchange Club.